of Sydney today. The gorgeous winter's day, and we're here with something very special. The Ford Falcon XR8 FGX, the very last of the Aussie muscle. It's a particularly nice example. It's been very well looked after. The owner, the good mate of mine, Andrew, keeps it undercover, doesn't drive it daily, but it's just there. It's a fantastic addition. But what makes this car special? Well, 335 kilowatts, so 470 horsepower from a car which cost 55,000 on road when new, so 2 years ago. And just, you will not be able to beat performance like that. And that is ultimately what Australians do best. They don't make the best car, they don't make the best sports car, they make the best family car, but what they did was make a fun car. And that is ultimately what we have here. It's such a nice spec, this one as well. They did one which is called the Sprint, which changed the wheels, but I think these 19-inch wheels look much better. Yeah, so we'll have a quick look around it. It's got four piston Brembo brakes at the front. And they weren't Brembo brakes at the back, but they were FPV spec, which was the performance brand of Ford Australia. The motor is a 5-litre supercharged V8. It's an American engine, but it's an Australian spec American engine. Not built down in Broadmeadows, but they were tuned down in Broadmeadows. So yeah, ultimately it's something pretty special. So we're gonna go for a drive. We're having a drive of the XR8. This is Andrew, by the way, everybody. The owner of the car. Thank you very much for letting me drive it.
Absolute pleasure, mate.
So what I can immediately say, I've been driving around the car for this is my third time driving it around, but don't get me wrong, what I can say about it, it very much feels it's a heavy car. It's got heavy steering, kind of the brakes feel kind of like you utilize your foot to stop, and that sounds a weird thing to say, but like there's some feel there. And also it's slightly lower than I thought.
That's all right. Don't worry. It's already got a couple of kiss marks on it. It doesn't matter.
Nice. What's that?
I think it's an old Holden. I think. Is it? Yeah. No, it's a
Vauxhall.
Oh, it is. It's like an old
Vauxhall
FJ.
U. Yeah.
Yeah, but it looks like an FJ Holden. Yeah.
But this thing is a complete and utter weapon. It is just, and it makes the most glorious noise. Your ownership experience with it, mate, it's been pretty relaxed, hasn't it? Sort of,
yeah, man. I'm not your typical sort of hoon. I give it a bit of stick every now and then. You pick and choose your moment, obviously, but really for me, like, I use it on the weekends, or if the wife and I are going out somewhere. I mean, I've got my own little thing I cruise to and from work in, so I don't have to put kilometres on this when I'm driving it around. But yeah, it's really hasn't given me any drama. Touch wood. The type of Ks that it's done, it's mostly open road stuff, and it just eats it up. It loves it. You get this thing out on the open road, and it just cruises. Big, long, sweeping corners, that sort of stuff. It loves it. Yeah. As far as the tight stuff, man, she's a little bit hairy, particularly getting the power down. But it's very predictable to a certain extent, anyway. You've just got to make sure you keep it on boost. Yeah. Keep the supercharger on boost. But
she never really bogs down though. No. Really? Yeah.
It's sometimes you can get caught out a little bit, but as long as you're maintaining the gears yourself and that sort of gear, you're not going to have a drama. But it's just so much power in it. It's just
these things run the ZF 6-speed, which is an amazing gearbox, and the setup in this, the tune on this is fantastic. I don't know what Ford engineers did with this is unbelievable in my opinion. Especially as they had 100 million to develop this car, and as I said earlier, it's like 55,000 to buy new. You buy 55,000 worth of drivetrain, and then you get a car on top, because the rest of it is don't get me wrong, it's good, but it's all about that drivetrain. It is a phenomenal bit of Australian engineering there. at its finest.
This is the argument with things, mate. Like, how many other companies and countries in the world were still hand assembling motors?
Yeah.
Because that's what they did with this.
It was a hand assembled motor.
It was hand assembled. That's right. They shipped the block in from the States, and the supercharger and some other components were actually assembled at the ProDrive side, or the Ford Performance Vehicle side at Broadmeadows.
Yeah.
And then they were taken and put into these vehicles. So there is an element of bespoke. If you go into each motor has a driver's signature or initials on it.
Oh, really?
Every single one. There's a little point on the block. I'll show you when we get out. But yeah, every single one of them was actually hand inspected and hand assembled. It's fun, isn't it?
Yeah. So what this car does is it makes you giggle. And that is what you know what it's all about. For motoring, for me, is about having a car that makes you giggle. Because ultimately, that's as enthusiasts,
that's what you want.
That's what you want. Yeah, you want the noise. You want the pantomime. It's
that sense of theatre.
Yeah, exactly. It's a sense of theatre almost. So, you got any plans for this car, mate? What's the...
Look, as far as it goes, it depends. Everything's always about budget. If I ever find myself with a little bit of spare cash sticking around, there's plenty of available modifications for it. I think the one thing it desperately needs is a supercharger intercooler.
Yeah.
So whether it be through Herod Motorsports or KPM, whoever it does, actually go straight ahead. We'll go under a little tunnel, but whoever it is, I think that would be a good thing just for longevity of the motor, and probably an interchiller as well.
An interchiller.
An interchiller is an intercooler that taps into your air conditioning system, which super cools the intercooler fluid.
Okay. So it's almost so it's like an intercooler extreme.
Yeah, pretty much. That's right. Just doing the most that you can to keep the motor cold.
Okay.
And the subsequent benefit with that is if you continually force cold air or freezing air into the motor, it runs the overboost all the time. So if you've got continually forcing air in, it's sort of 6 or 7 degrees into it, it's going to go, how good's this? Let's open it right up. The overboost, as you might have felt on occasion, is a little bit temperamental. Sometimes she kicks in, sometimes she doesn't.
Yeah.
So really, and it's an obvious difference when the overboost kicks in too. It's a huge difference because it's an extra 10% power in the up to 15%.
These run something called overboost, which is when you put your foot down, you get an extra about 10%. Is it torque or power?
Power and torque.
Power and torque. And so you'll get sort of between your 335 suddenly turns into 370 kilowatts, which is 500 horsepower. It's quick, to say the least.
It's a 4.6, I don't believe it. A couple of other things, it must be a rare Forwards day. But
and true is, if you like the Ford Australia man. If you want to know something, modern Ford Australia man. Okay, if you want to know anything about sort of EF afterwards,
even early E series, mate. But look, it's all it's just the way that it's craziness, mate. What are we talking about? Sorry, I saw that. I was like, I haven't seen one of those in a long time, mate.
So Ford Australia has seen its last ever Falcon roll off the production line as of October 2016, and General Motors' Australian brand Holden followed suit the year after. Icons like the XR8 that are synonymous with Australian culture are now confined to the history books. It's a real shame because cars like these, cars that make you smile and giggle, really do make the world a better place. Anyway, thank you for watching. If you like the video, please let me know, and hit that subscribe button for plenty more content to come. Ciao!